we live? Are we live? Yes, we are. Okay, so what are we revealing today? Let me know if the audio is good in the live chat. I see everyone there. Today we're reacting to this video on Mohammed Hijab's channel. These are two Muslim dudes responding to Richard Dawkins appearing on Joe Rogan. The interview of Dawkins with Joe Rogan is not recent, but this video of these two Muslims reviewing it is recent. So this should be interesting. Let me see who's in the live chat. By the way, guys, if you're watching this not live, that means that you probably didn't hit the notification bell. So if you want to join us live, make sure you're subscribed, but you also, that subscribing is not enough. You also have to hit the notification bell so that you could join us live when we're talking about these things. So I could like highlight you, like Fatima is here on YouTube, Marco is here on Twitch. Yeah, follow us on Twitch as well. Shobham is here telling us the audio is good. Kirana is here. Wow, there's this guy who is a parody of me. His name is Armin, the Navabian monster, and that's not weird at all, by the way. That's not weird at all. That's my picture right there in the Taliban costume. Oh, Deborah is here. Wow, this is a new member. Hey, Sig. I don't know how to do that. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into the video. But thank you for all the members here who joined as members. Thank you guys for being member and guys and gals. Thank you so much. Anyways, let's get into it. Wait, there's no audio. The reason why there's no audio is because I muted the tab. Now there should be audio. Let's continue. Whoa, that's kind of intense, eh? The lion and
Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh
to be responding to Joe Rogan and Richard Dawkins talking about how Islam and religion is dying and atheism is taking over the world.
Woohoo!
Is there any evidence that that is reaching the Muslim world as well, and that people are?
Well, as I was saying, the downloads of my books have been increasing.
Before Richard Dawkins says why atheism is growing, let's also announce that we just hit 20,000 subscribers, just like Marco announced. This is a true sign that atheism is growing. Finally, we hit 20K. Finally, thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to all of you, 20K subscribers. Woohoo! All right, continue. But yeah, this is actually, I didn't plan this. This is actually a good video. Wow, look at, I didn't notice, look at Richard's tie. Guys, look at Richard's tie. It's DNA. I just noticed that. That's so cool. I want that tie. I don't wear ties though.
Encouraging. We have this thing called, CFI has this thing called the Translation Project.
So in this clip, Dawkins says religion's dying as a general point. Would you?
You know, if these two watch this channel, they would be like, "Oh, really? Atheism is growing because you had 20K subscribers. Look at our channel, 331K. That would be the response."
Agree with that?
Well, first of all, we'd have to be very clear about how we define religion. Okay, in terms of atheism actually becoming more popular, or the kind of atheism which Richard Dawkins himself espouses, as I mentioned in my book, which is free to download. The book is called The Scientific Deception of the New Atheists.
That's a very subtle plugin.
Yes. You can put it, you can see it in the description box. But I've referenced in that book, it's a very small, very small booklet, really, that you can download free of charge. All of the demographic data indicates that most people in the West, according to Pew Research, 90% of people still believe in a higher power. According to Linda Woodhead, only 5.5% of people believe in the strident atheism that Richard Dawkins believes in.
Okay, these people don't even understand what atheism means, and they don't know. Richard Dawkins many times has described atheism as a lack of belief in God rather than belief in anything. Clearly, you have no idea, Mohammed Hijab, what you're talking about. There's no kind of atheism that there's atheism is just a lack of belief in God and nothing else. There's no different kinds of atheism. Okay. I mean, this is basic stuff. You guys obviously have no idea what you're talking about. Also, not only have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to what atheism is, you also don't understand how numbers work. Because the claim that we heard Richard say, correct me if I'm wrong, the claim was atheism is growing. Maybe Mohammed Hijab corrects himself later on. Maybe he gives us a little bit more nuance. But right now, as it stands, he's saying most people still believe in a higher power, and most people are not atheists. That's what Mohammed Hijab is saying. Does he not understand that making a claim about how things are changing is not the same claim as, it's not a claim on what the levels are at not right now? Do you understand? If something goes from 2% to 3%, it's growing. And if I say, oh my God, look, it went from 2% to 3%, it's growing. If you come back and say, what are you talking about? It's only 3%. You're like, yeah, I know it's only 3%, but it's growing. Like, you can like, no, it's not growing. Look, it's 97% is still not what you're saying. Like, I know, but it went from 2% to 3%. That's 150% more than what it was before. Yes, isn't that okay? Let's maybe he corrects himself later, but he's saying like, no, this is his counter.
In the West, according to Pew Research, 90% of people still believe in a higher power. According to Linda Woodhead, only 5.5% of people believe in the strident atheism that Richard Dawkins believes in, which is actually, quite interestingly, from a British perspective, the same number of people, amount of people that are Muslim in this country. So there's about the same amount of Muslims in this country as there are atheists.
Militant atheists.
Yeah,
You're talking about levels. They're talking about change rates.
strident atheists of Richard Dawkins' kind.
So here Dawkins, he's basically saying, look, guys,
No, that was it. That was the full context. He doesn't understand how numbers work.
I can tell you atheism's rising in the Muslim world and Islam is dying because people are downloading my book. So really rigorous scientific argument, isn't it?
Oh, okay, you moron. These are not scientific arguments. There's a difference between coming up with a theory and coming up with a hypothesis. If you don't have reliable data to come up with a theory, you come up with an educated guess based on numbers that you have, while acknowledging that these numbers are not reliable, but I'm making an educated guess based on the information that we have. Because of, do you know why we don't have reliable numbers on how atheism is growing in Saudi freaking Arabia and in Iran? Because of Islam, because Islamic countries make it difficult for people to announce their atheism. Because of your religion it's because of your religion that we don't have reliable data to know exactly what these numbers are. But when you see, for example, when we release a podcast and we see like, oh my God, our downloads in Egypt are growing. And when you put for example, I translated my book. Other people translated my book for free to Persian and Arabic, and we put it up online. And my book is also being downloaded. So it's being circulated everywhere in Persian and Arabic, and like so many people keep coming and telling me like, oh my God, I have your book, I share your book, I read your book. I don't have any reliable data, but you guess, you're like, it seems like there's a demand for it. Like you see Arabic YouTube channels are growing so fast. There's huge demand for atheist Arabic YouTube channels, right? These are not scientific method. They're not scientific method of data collection, but it could give you an indication that there seems to be a growing community of atheists in the Arab world, or in the Persian world, or in the Turkish world, or in the Indonesian or the Malaysian or the Bengali world or the Pakistani world. It's an indication for you to come up with an educated guess. And when you say like, oh my God, Richard Dawkins, wow, that's a very scientific method of you coming up with. Nobody claimed that this was a scientific method. What did he say? Like, did he say, oh, people downloaded my book and that's a scientific method of data collection, and that's why I have a proof, this is evidence that my hypothesis have been proved? Like, did he say that? Did he claim that this was a scientific method, or this was just a mere indication that it suggests that it's a growing thing in the Muslim community? This is like a straw man. Let me see what you guys are saying. No, wait. You guys make sure if you want me to read something, you tag Atheist Republic. I'm going to call you Sig because I don't know how to read your name. And you're a member, so I have to make sure that I read your comments. Sig is saying, you know that a book is extensive and sophisticated enough to debunk atheism when it's short. Yeah, you're talking about his book. His book is right here in his channel if you guys want to check it out. Okay, the Soraya is responding to somebody else. Well, Sig is also saying, I also like how this hijab guy only cuts out 30 milliseconds passages of other videos so he can attack them. Joe Rogan episodes are usually longer than 1.5 hours. Oh, Coco is saying yes, preach Armin. Oh, thank you. Here's the thing, though. I think it's fair to cut out small pieces of a video and talk about it, as long as you're being fair and not misrepresenting the full context, right? But if you have such low credibility, like like somebody like Mohammed Hijab, then I agree with you on that.
Well, it's methodologically flawed from a demographic and sociological perspective, not least because
It is okay. Methodology. It's a hypothesis. It's not a scientific method of figuring out the truth.
the religious switching cannot and has not been sociologically identified by downloads of the atheistic
Well, we
material.
can say after 9/11, millions of people say they downloaded the Quran because they're like, okay, what's this about?
Yeah.
Does that mean they automatically became Muslim?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but they were more interested in Islam. You could come up with that. You could say that. Like that shows that that highly suggests, that doesn't prove, but it highly suggests that people were more interested in Islam after 9/11. See, that also, you could come up with some educated guesses based on the data that you just mentioned without actually saying that proves anything. You could come up with some educated guesses based on the non-scientific data collection method that you just described.
It's a very
I mean,
silly
first of
argument.
all, 13 million people might have downloaded the book, but it doesn't mean all of them, number one, read it, and number two, agreed with it.
Or it could be actually, it could be a vaccination.
Right.
Because the book has such weak arguments. Like Michael Roos says,
See, you guys are doing that now. See, you guys are saying like, "Oh, this is not a scientific method," so I don't know how it come up with its conclusion. Even though it wasn't a conclusion, it's an educated guess. But now you're doing the same thing. You guys are coming up with your own guesses based on the data that you just said was not scientifically collected. You guys are saying, "Well, it could be this, it could be this." So you guys are coming up with your guesses based on the data that you said it's not collected, in the methodology of its collection was not scientific. So how come you guys are coming up with guesses based on this data?
Embarrassed to be an atheist because of this book, right?
Yeah,
This
yes.
book makes me embarrassed. And he makes the conflation between metaphysical.
So not only, okay, so you're saying somebody read this book and say they're embarrassed because okay, let me actually make sure I'm not strawmanning him. Hold on.
Michael Roos says, I'm embarrassed to be an atheist because of this book, right?
Yeah.
This book
Okay, so see, so they didn't like 13 million book downloads, and they said that that's not a reliable way to come up with the conclusion. And yet look at their data of for them to come up with their own conclusion. It's not 13 million, it's anecdotal of one person. And you're coming up with guesses, you're coming up with conclusions, you're coming up with your hypothesis. So you said, oh, this 13 million data number, that's not educated guess. But look, I have an example of a story of this one person.
makes me
Let me
embarrassed.
come up with a theory let me come up with a hypothesis based on that.
And he makes the conflation between metaphysical naturalism and methodological naturalism. There's fallacies pointed out
Yes.
by Elliot Sober, by Massimo Piglucci,
Yes.
by Michael Roos, by all these people.
Right.
So it could be the Muslim
This is appeal to authority.
picks up the
You
book
have no
and
idea what any of these people are saying. You just, I mean, I'm guessing because
is like,
This
okay,
is just like throwing out stuff that like, oh, I'm not going to be able to tell you why it's wrong. Let me just name a whole bunch of other people with that, let me just name drop a whole bunch of people that criticize it and just leave that with you with that.
this is atheism is about. Actually, it's quite poor. And then they're like, I'm never going to touch atheism again. Maybe he's spreading his
Okay, come on, guys. You guys know, okay? You guys know in the live chat. You guys know that the God delusion is responsible for people abandoning their religion more than most books in the world. The only other books that compete with the God delusion in the number of atheists that it produced is the Bible and the Quran. Only the Bible and the Quran have managed to outcompete the God delusion when it comes to atheist production. You guys, come on, that's a safe. You guys know that, right?
Islamism in the Muslim.
I mean, and after that, the fourth champion, I would say, is my book, Why There's No God. Guys, if you can't afford to buy any of these books, go to Why There Is No God. If you can't afford it, if you don't have a credit card, if you're in a place that Amazon does not exist, go to our website and contact us, email us. I'll send you a free PDF copy of Why There Is No God. See, I also offer free books, Mohammed Hijab.
World.
Absolutely, because a lot of the time when people want to increase their cultural capital by learning about new ideas of the West, which is obviously the demographic heartland of the new atheist movement, it doesn't. That sometimes acts as a counter current.
Yeah,
People think, oh, well, if this is what it's about, then we have nothing to do with it.
absolutely.
But in terms
But that's not what's happening. That's not
of
what's
recent
happening. You guys are coming up with, at least when Dawkins came up with his conclusion, he had some numbers to show up. You guys are coming up like, oh yeah, atheists are reading this and be like, oh no, this is embarrassing. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And you guys are offering no data. You just had one guy, one story, and you have like, oh, this data collection method is flawed. Let's come up with our own claims based on zero data, no data, just pure like you just pull it out of our where.
history, I mean, what we should look at is the fact that in the 60s and 70s, in countries like the countries that he mentioned, Iran and Egypt, the countries that he mentions, in countries like those, you'll find that there's been a movement from pan-Arabism or nationalism and secularism towards Islam religiosity.
Are you serious? Oh my God. You're talking about the governments, not the people. I'm glad that he mentioned Iran because I think you guys know that I know a thing or two about Iran, right? I think I know a thing or two about Iran. He's saying that people are moving away from nationalism towards religion, and one of his examples is Iran. Iran, are you serious? Do you wanna check your facts, Mohammed Hijab, on that? Do you want to double check your data on that? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Iran, okay.
Practicing observance.
Guys, I think he's confused with the difference between where governments like Turkey and Iran's government and Egypt's government are heading, and the laws that they're introducing and the more strict that they're becoming. I think he's focusing on that, and he's not noticing that the demographics are going in the opposite direction, Mr. Hijab. Are you serious? Like Iran, okay, guys, in Iran, the level of anti-Islamic attitude among Iranians is too extreme for my taste. Okay, a person that just 2 days ago ate and shat out a Quran, think that a lot of Iranian young people in Iran are taking their anti-Islamism too far, too extreme. I think a lot of far-right, white, something that like YouTube doesn't want me to say, will look at the way that some anti-Islamic narratives are in Iran, and they would be telling them, okay, guys, you guys need to chill out. But I don't blame them, to be fair. I mean, a lot of these people's lives have been. But here's what I could tell you, right? The government has went extremely theocratic. During the Pahlavi dynasty, before the Islamic Revolution of Iran, even though the government was not remote, I mean, obviously not Islamic, I mean, just a little bit, the Shah sometimes like went to Hajj and like, oh yeah, God, blah, 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 but obviously nothing. I mean, his father, the first Pahlavi king, banned the hijab in public. You can't get more anti-Islamic than that. But the people at that time, during Pahlavi dynasty, the people respected Islam. For the people, there was this sacred. Islamic things were holy, were not to be insulted. Now, after the Islamic Revolution, everything has flipped. The government is extremely Islamic, And the people, a lot, again, I don't want to paint the people with, like, there is still a lot of religious people in Iran, extremely religious, like at least 10 million out of the, what are we right now, 80 million? At least 10 million out of the 80 million people in Iran are very religious, right? But the young people, especially, oh my God, there are at least 10 million people also in Iran that absolutely, they're not just not Muslim, they hate Islam. They hate Islam with a passion. A lot of them, unfortunately, they are so hateful of Islam that they cannot wait to paint the streets red with the blood of religious people once they're hoping that the regime falls, and they will get revenge from anybody that ever claimed that they were religious at any point. Like, they were just waiting for that day. Okay, so again, that's the level of extremism that I do not endorse, but I'm just telling you that this is the point. This is how far people have gotten when it comes to Islam. So Mohammed Hijab, you have no idea what you're talking about. You have zero idea what, I mean, atheism in Egypt is also growing. So I know a thing or two about Egypt, but if you want to talk about Iran, if I see that you're making a claim like that about Iran, that I know you're full of, you know what, right? I know you're full of it. I'm almost sure about Egypt that the demographics in Egypt, atheism is growing as well. But with Iran, I'm absolutely, like, close to 100% certain that you're full of crap. Oh, thank you, Pete. P2020 is linking to my book on Amazon. Thank you so much, P2020. I appreciate that. Did I miss anything that I should have read?
Of the religion,
Yeah.
and that's visible. I mean, for anyone who just sees pictures. Okay, I'm not saying that's the only.
Well, Yemen, Afghanistan,
yeah.
all these areas, they were secular and communist.
In
and
terms of
atheistic.
even dress code, I mean,
yeah.
the dress
The governments used to be secular. The people were more religious, and now things are switching.
code has shifted completely. Look at
Wait, the dress code. The dress code. Oh yeah, the dress code of women in Iran switched since the Pahlavi dynasty, since the Islamic Republic came to power. Oh yeah, that's because people are choosing to be wearing the dress code. Like, it's not at all because it's forced by the goddamn government.
pictures of Egypt in the 1670s. Look at pictures of Iran in the 1670s. Women were.
Are you serious? You're talking about Iran in the 60s? Are you serious? In the 60s and 70s? Yeah, Mohammed Hijab, this has nothing to do with the fact that they're forced by the goddamn government to dress up Islamic. Like, are you serious? Do you not know why they're dressing up like that right now? Do you think they would not go back to dress up like they were in the 60s? They would. Okay, I'll tell you, Mohammed Hijab. If these rules were not there, the women in Iran, looking at what women used to wear in the 60s and 70s, they will consider that too conservative. You know how I know that? Look at the women that leave Iran. Look at what they do after they leave Iran when they come to free countries. Do you think they keep their hijab, Mohammed Hijab? Do you think they do? Oh my God, this is so stupid. This is just too stupid.
Probably wearing mini skirts and these kind of things. Now,
Yeah, because they want to wear miniskirts right now. They really want to. They can't.
there's a big chunk of the population
Yeah.
in Egypt where it's not compulsory. I mean, no one's going to get attacked if they don't.
Oh yeah, are you serious? In Egypt, okay, even in Egypt where it's not mandated by government, try, okay. No, don't try. It's not very safe. But look at go actually look at people who've tried. Okay, go look at what happens to you in Egypt if you walk in the streets with the mini skirts. Go. No, don't go try it. This is not a good idea. Okay, guys, do not. This is risky. Okay, but go look at people who tried. So you either have it being enforced by the government, or you have this crazy fundamentalist people that are, even if they are not represent the majority, they're willing to escalate things farther than the non-religious people are. Again, here's what I could tell you. Egypt has not gone as far as Iranian population when it comes to becoming more anti-Islamic. The reason why the Iranian population has become more anti-Islamic is because living under theocracy does that to you. Okay, living under an Islamic theocracy makes you hate Islam. But even though Egypt itself hasn't gone as far as the population in Iran with their anti-Islamic attitude, atheism is growing in Egypt. Atheism is growing in Egypt. Well, we got a super chat. We got a €5. Yes, €5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ronald. That's very kind. Marco is saying challenge accepted. On my next vacation in Egypt, I'm going to wear a mini skirt. All right, I don't suggest that.
That observe the hijab, that masajid mosques have increased.
Soha is saying atheism is rising in the Arabic world, but unfortunately the government are taking dramatic measures by imprisoning them if they come out. Yes, we have seen a lot of reports on that. I'm actually going to show you a couple after this video is over.
I mean, even from an internet data point perspective, we look at Google Trends, we look at the du'at, all those.
Look at this, guys. They're saying, oh, look at Google Trends, look at internet data perspective. What happened to not relying on non-scientific methods? What happened to that? Did you just like 4 minutes ago, didn't you guys say like, oh, that's not a scientific method of data collection? And now you're relying on Google. You guys are hypocrites. Do you not remember what you just said 4 minutes ago? Do you think looking at Google Trends is a scientific method of data collection?
Individuals who call to Islam and their sermons.
Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't rely on the data, but you guys are hypocrites because you just a few minutes ago just said that you shouldn't rely on that. I wouldn't be criticizing you to look at these numbers just to come up with a hypothesis, but given that you were criticizing to come up with any guesses based on non-scientific data collection method, it seems like now all of a sudden you threw that standard away.
And their preaching has become extremely popular, especially in the after 2000. So all the data points that we can look at and tangibly see indicate there's been a trajectory move towards religiosity rather than the opposite.
So he says he's very hopeful.
You know, I could use the same argument that you said, right? You guys said like, okay, oh, maybe people are downloading Richard Dawkins' God Delusion book and they're reading it. It doesn't mean that they're being convinced by it. It means that they're embarrassed by it. They're reading it. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to be associated with atheism. Look at this God delusion. Okay, so let's use the same thing on you. Like, oh, people are more interested in religious concepts. Look at Google Trends. Well, maybe because they're interested because they're looking at how embarrassingly moronic it is. They're looking at it like, oh my God, I can't believe how stupid these ideas are. I'm actually very interested in that. Didn't what you just said apply to the same?
Right? He's very hopeful of atheism.
Wait, let me see what you guys are saying. Sig is saying this, the same seems to be true in Turkey since the Islamist government came into absolute power. There, people seem to get less religious over the years. Yeah, it's weird. Like people, when you force religion on people, people tend to start hating it.
Taking over. But I have this question.
It's amazing how that happens, right?
I don't know if you've thought about this, but atheists in general, they don't really have many kids. Muslims have a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's how you guys grow. That's how you guys grow. You don't make any sense. You just breed like rabbits.
And Dawkins' entire worldview is based upon Darwinism, and the ultimate rationale, according to him in The Selfish Gene, is the preservation of our genes, reproduction, and survival.
So, no, you're not going to go there. Oh, these people think like if you believe in evolution, that means that you have to live by evolution. Are you seriously going to appeal to nature for the best way to live? Is that where we're heading? It's like, oh, these people believe in evolution and we have more kids, so we're winning the evolution game. Oh my God. This is, I mean, do I even, just because the laws of evolution, the way it works, that doesn't mean that we have to live by it. The way that society, what works better for a healthy society, we don't look at evolution and what the apparent goal of evolutionary laws are. I mean, apparent because evolution doesn't have any goals, right? We don't look at that to be like how to build our society and works best. If we were trying to make like abide by the laws of evolution, then we will just make breeding factories for all women. We would make factories and women would just be pumping out babies. That would be the whole point of life. Obviously, we don't care what, you know how what this sounds like to me, and you guys tell me if this makes sense to you guys, right? It's like, what is the law of gravity? The law of gravity means that, okay, like the Earth has an, gravitational pull, and everything falls down. If there's nothing stopping it, like this falls down, right? Okay, so that's the law of gravity. Okay, so let's abide. Okay, you're telling me that's the law of gravity. Okay, let's abide by it. I'm gonna go push everybody on the ground. Every time I see somebody standing, I'm just gonna push them on the ground. They're like, what the hell? Why are you pushing me? Like, don't you believe in the law of gravity? I'm just gonna abide by the law of gravity. Everything must fall. Everything must fall. Everything must fall. I'm gonna throw the glass on the ground. I'm just gonna, push the TV, push somebody off of the rooftop. Like, laws of gravity. You guys believe in the law of gravity. We have to abide by the laws of gravity. Just because we know like how evolution works, that doesn't mean that we have to abide by that for a healthy society. Like, these people are like, oh, you guys believe in evolution. Well, guess who's winning the evolution game? Yeah, you guys are winning. Just like viruses. Viruses are also winning the evolution game. Just like, no, wait, God, no. Dehuman. No. That's what that I was not. Shit, I'm gonna get in trouble. No, I was clarification time. I wasn't dehumanizing anybody. I wasn't suggesting that any group of people at all are oh, God damn it, I got in trouble. Here's the thing. I was saying, what I'm suggesting here is that if we want to go by that standard of whoever reproduces is winning, okay, then bacteria are winning over human. I wasn't saying over Muslims, okay? I'm saying over humans, right? So are we saying like, yay, bacteria, they're winning over us, like, or or insects, or like, no, nobody cares. We care. We don't want to win the evolution game. We don't care what our genes want. We care what we want, okay? We don't want to breed and spread our genes. We want to be happy, okay? The tools of the evolution. Okay, again, I know that evolution is not conscious, and I'm just speaking about this, as if it is conscious because it seems like it's conscious, right? But evolution gave us certain desires for it to be able to use us like puppets to, manipulate us to spread our genes, right? But because we're self-aware and we're conscious, we turn this game on its head. The desires that we used to be our strings now turned into our goals. We don't want to spread our genes. We want to satisfy our desires. Desires like love, sympathy, family, friendship, sex, food, all of that. Those used to be our strings, but now we are self-aware. Those strings, the tools of the evolution, have become our goals. So we don't care that we're not spreading our genes. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to be happy and make other people happy and enjoy being responsible for other people's happiness as well. Does that make sense? Mohsen is saying, these two are such morons, it's cringe watching them. Guys, do you think anybody's going to take that part that I said about the whole virus thing and people are going to try to make it seem that I was talking about Muslims? I wasn't talking about Muslims. I was talking about humans versus viruses, right? Like, we don't say like, oh, viruses are winning over humans because they're spreading their genes more, right? We're not saying that. We don't say that, okay? Is that clear to you guys? Have I clarified myself enough? Because I have been taken out of context way too many times.
So could it be that natural selection, Darwinism, actually causes Islamism? Because Muslims actually have the most amount of children, as you know, and Islam is growing faster than the world population. It's the fastest growing demographic. So is it possible that that's why Islam is growing, and that's why his hope that atheism is going to actually prevail is going to fail because of the theory that he purports to believe in?
I'll leave that to you, because I think you're the expert on issues to do with Darwinism. But what I think is that Richard Dawkins has delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
In his
unlike you guys,
one of his interviews with Sun, he was asked, "Do you think you're winning?" or something to that effect, and he said, "Yes, we're winning." Nothing of the information
we are
that we
winning.
have from Pew Research on apostasy, which by the way is methodologically flawed because they interview like 30% or Iranians who don't speak English as a first language and don't represent the bulk of Muslims in America. But even if we look at that and we look at other data points like the Yaqeen study on doubt and so on, we'll find that really Darwinian arguments, which is really the thrust
of his
book, right? As being Darwinian, the Darwinian mechanism replaces the God thesis. Really, that's what he's trying to argue.
Yeah.
What are they talking about? Does this make any sense to any of you? The Darwinian process replaces God? How are these people taken seriously?
Darwinian mechanism replaces the God thesis. Really, that's what he's trying to argue.
Yeah.
Is not one of the reasons why people are leaving religion, if it is a reason, if there is a reason.
I think in your research you were trying to in your book you're basically talking about moral issues.
Yes.
Yeah, that being the cause.
Okay, I think what he was trying to say is the Darwinian. Okay, so let me actually. I think what he's trying to say. It's true that before the Darwinian explanation of how life came to be the way it is, a lot of very intelligent people were deists, and I think Richard Dawkins suggested that a lot of the intelligent people who used to be deists before being exposed to the Darwinian explanation of how life is the way it is, if many of those people would have probably been atheists if they saw the explanation of how not just Darwinism, but also like maybe the Big Bang Theory and all that. If they were exposed to that, a lot of those deists that predate those scientific discoveries would have probably been satisfied enough with the explanations to become atheists.
Not
exactly. So in terms of if there's an intellectual reason, which is not always the case for people leaving Islam, for example, or even Christianity. In the case of Islam, it's usually morality.
Yeah.
Do we have a troll in the live chat? I think this guy's a troll. Do you guys want me to remove him?
Which is not the exclusive.
The members decide if we want to remove him.
Property of the new atheist argument.
Well, actually, they don't have a justification for morality in the first place.
Exactly right.
And that's something else.
In the sense that they make these arguments against religion, but so do.
Oh, this idiot! Look at this. We have a triggered person here. Don't you have any other things to do in life rather than targeting on Islam? Hey, targeting Islam is a good thing to do. This guy is triggered. Oh my God, look at this. Somebody is offended. Oh my God, he's crying. We're attacking precious Islam and he's so sad. Oh, poor Muslim.
Other people, many different people who are not new atheists. Christians can make arguments against Islamic morality. Liberal secularists can make arguments against. So we wouldn't be able to pinpoint whether their arguments for Islam using morality is the exact or the reason for the switching.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, there is that, and you can also sort of argue that he's talking about atheism taking off in the Muslim world, but has it even really taken off in the Western world? Because the Soviet Union, they had this massive atheism project for decades.
Oh, thank you. Karen is saying, oh, thank you. That's very sweet.
And when it collapsed, people went back to religion. We're finding New Age paganism. We're finding these spiritual movements rising all across Europe, rising all across North America. So it's not even working here. Why would it be working in the Muslim world?
Well, looking at new atheism in particular, people like Richard Dawkins, people like Sam Harris. And when we look at the interaction or the engagement or the numbers, because Joe Rogan used that term, the metrics, the actual internet metrics with... for example, 10 years ago, 15 years ago to now, you'll realize that actually people are losing interest in their arguments. It's like old arguments that are being regurgitated.
They actually turn to Jordan Peterson and
the
meaning of life and nihilism and
these people are irrelevant.
Look at this. Look at how they just the second half of the video just became them coming up with their guesses based on what demographic changes and people change. They're coming up with their own trend analysis. So the first half of the video was like, oh, how could he come up with these conclusions based on this data? This is not a very, very good data to. And the second half of this video is them coming up with a trend like analysis of how people are changing their opinions, people going to paganism or going to nihilism or Jordan Peterson based on zero data, no data, nothing. So we went from the flawed method that they didn't like, that was bad data, to now their superior method of coming up with trends based on zero data. Wow, so much better now, isn't this?
Yeah.
I mean, Richard Dawkins is a 78-year-old man who now has produced a book called
Is this your new target now?
No, he's not.
Yeah, it's funny. Coco is saying these people are irrelevant. Yeah, sure, buddy. Sure, buddy. They're so irrelevant. They're so irrelevant that you guys are to talk about. They are so irrelevant that for you they represent entire trends. Like if you name entire trends after the people, that's how big of a deal they are. So like I'm not endorsing, for example, Jordan Peterson, but he's such a big of a deal for you. You didn't have any other name for the trend than naming a person that represents that entire trend. That shows how big of a deal these people are. That's the only name that you come up with for that entire trend. When you think new atheism and you try to focus on Richard Dawkins to talk about that trend, that shows how big of a deal these people are.
He's not a target because really and truly, he's an irrelevant person. I mean, we have to be honest. 78 years old, has just produced a book. I'm not going to even name the title. And if you compare the hits that he has on that book, and we've used Google Trends to do so, before and after, compared to the God Delusion, you realize that it's not even 1/5 the amount of interest that he got before.
Yeah, that's called, what is that called? Regression to the mean? What is that concept called? Regression to the mean, regression towards the mean. Yeah, when you have something that is just knocks everything out of the park and becomes such a big hit, the most likely scenario is that nothing else will ever get that close. It would be extraordinary if you have a second hit that outdoes that. That's what you expect. Like, oh, nothing else he ever produced ever became that big. Yeah, that's what you would expect. That's what you would expect statistically. You would expect it so much that there's even a name for it. Again, these people don't know what numbers work. What do you expect? Like you wanted him to write a book that became one of the greatest hits in the world when it comes to changing people's ideas about about God, religion, and life itself, and you were like, oh, he didn't produce a second book that achieved the same thing, or a third book that achieved such a great thing. Like, look at these people's standards. Like, oh, here's their criticism for Richard Dawkins, basically, right? Like, he only produced one major hit that changed the world as we know it. Only one. Okay. Well.
So people are not interested anymore. They've heard what he has to say. Some people were convinced, who probably were agnostic in the first place.
Look, where are you getting this from? You know how many Christians are now atheists because of? Well, he's like, probably some people, just a few people changed their mind they were already agnostic anyways, probably. Where are you getting this from? Where is this coming from? Citation needed.
Most people are not, and his broken record arguments are just becoming a thing of the past. They're going to go to the dustbin of history, really.
Sure.
So what about this Joe guy? I mean, he's just nodding along like, one of those puppets, and, he's also been trying to promote atheism a lot. I mean, do you see him as an atheist evangelist as well?
I don't know if he's an evangelist. I actually mentioned Joe Rogan in my book as a point of comparison to show the irrelevance of people like Richard Dawkins.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mentioned him in some of the...
Oh, you know what they're doing right now? I know what they're doing. They're like, they're hoping they get invited to Joe Rogan.
The internet data that I picked up, because he's a cultural figure now. And I think
they're sucking his, you know what? They're like, he's like, no, he's a very, like, we hate Richard Dawkins, but Joe Rogan, no, he seems okay. Please invite us. You could have us on your show.
He's an influencer, and I think he is extremely relevant. Like comparing
Richard Dawkins is irrelevant, but Joe Rogan is relevant. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Can you invite us to our show?
Joe Rogan with Richard Dawkins is like comparing Michael Jackson with... I don't know, one of these people who have started a YouTube channel.
Smile to Jannah or something, right?
Yeah,
something
for example.
Like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But so the point I'm making is that Joe Rogan, though, he's an atheist, and for the most part, he's just brought atheists into his podcast. He's spoken to Sam Harris, spoken to Richard Dawkins. He's engaged with Ben Shapiro, softly on Judaism. He's not really had someone who represents the religion.
See, they're saying invite us. They're like, oh, you brought atheists or brought Jewish people to defend Judaism. What about Islam? Can you invite us? Oh my God, they're trying to get on Joe Rogan. This is their pitch.
An Abrahamic religion. Talk them through their rationale, which is why we say it's very important that that he calls someone to his podcast who is a Muslim.
Like he's look at the camera and like call someone who is a Muslim to your podcast, and he looks at the camera like, that's me.
To his podcast.
Look at
who
it,
is a Muslim, and we're always here. Our services are.
Oh, we're always here. Oh, okay.
Absolutely. So as you heard from Hijab, Faraz Zahabi, we really ask you to make sure you turn up again on the Joe Rogan show.
Yes.
And do a good job of representing Islam.
He did last time.
MashaAllah.
Oh, okay. So there was another person that went there as well. Okay. We should watch that. All right. Here's what I wanted to show you guys. And I also want to give you guys a trick. And then after that, I will focus on the live chat. Okay. I am Philosophical Mind saying Armin stream on Twitch. We're streaming on Twitch right now. This is on YouTube and Twitch. Link to our Twitch in the description. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I'm going to focus on the live chat, but I wanted to show you guys two things, right? First of all, this is by The Economist. In The Economist, they're referring to a Pew research. They're saying 23% of Americans raised as Muslim no longer identify with the faith, according to Pew Research Center. All right, let me read this one more time for the people at the back, okay? 23%. 23% of Americans raised as Muslim. Let me zoom in for you all to see. See this? Okay. I'm going to click on this, but I'm going to show you why I didn't click on this already, okay? 23% of Americans raised as Muslim no longer identify with the faith, according to Pew Research Center. This is where? This is in the United States, okay? You know what this means, guys? 20 guys, before this data came out, whoa, we got a new member. New member, Jason. Thank you so much. Let me actually, is this a new member or is it an upgrade? All right, you guys tell me, okay? Because I can't check in real time. Yes, new member. Thank you so much, Jason. Really appreciate that. But guys, 23% of Americans, okay? So what is the difference? That means, guys, the only thing, if I had to guess, I would have never guessed 23%. Like before 2018, before this number came out, I was already very optimistic. Based on the things I've seen, like, guys, the second generation Muslims in free countries, I would be like, guys, I think up to like, I think 5%, but maybe up to like even 10% in some cases. 10% deconversion rate. I think in free countries, people are leaving Islam. That would have been my guess. And that would be a sign of really great hope. 10%, the compounding interest effect, how big of a deal that is? 23%, close to a quarter of second generation Muslims in the United States that are leaving Islam. That means, to me, that if we remove the barriers in Islamic countries, if we have access to people, if we break the taboos, access to internet because of social media, because what's the difference between the United States and Islamic countries? They don't live in a bubble. They're being exposed to other ideas. That means going forward, we could see 20% rate in Islamic countries. You know what it means? You know how everything will change if we could see even close to this rates in Islamic countries? 23%. By the way, let me show you guys something. So if I click on this article, you're not going to be able to see everything because, see, it's going to tell me to, oh, what just happened? Ah, you have to get a membership. But then I'll teach you guys how to see the rest of this article, okay? So you go to this website called Texty, okay? And you take the URL of this Economist article, and then you go to Texty, and you like Texty this to me, and you get the full article. Look at this, right? So I didn't have to, I got the full article, right? So just a neat trick. Also, this is a recent one. There's a whole bunch of articles that show that analyzes how people are living Islam, and they're all over the place. But this one article from telegraphindia.com, this one link to both this Economist article and to this Telegraph India article. But link to both of them is on the YouTube video, so you could check that out. The good thing about this one, why are young Muslims leaving Islam? What I like about it is that most of the articles that I've seen over the past couple of years, they have been cited here. So it's kind of like you could mix of all of them, most of them, not all of them, is here somewhere. Okay, so you could check that out as well. It goes over why this is becoming a major deal. Okay, so this is way better than whatever these two guys did, like their analysis. And again, this is Pew, okay? Pew. But this is like 23% is right here, okay? This is, so when they wanted to when they were like, oh, Richard Dawkins, he's just going by book downloads. That's not scientific data collection method, blah, blah, blah. Well, there you go. I have a just Pew Research. It doesn't get more scientifically data. No, I don't know what to say. The data collection method does not get any more scientific than this, okay? Than Pew Research, okay? Are you happy now? Are you guys happy? Are you guys happy? Do you know the only way you could compete with this 23% rate is by, you guys have to breathe faster, because it's going to hard to keep up with all this number. We're coming after your kids, guys. We're coming, because no matter how fast you guys breathe, we are coming after your kids, because guess what? Your kids are going to be on social media. So keep breeding. It doesn't matter to us, because we don't need to have kids. We don't need to have kids. We're coming after your kids. Hold on. All right, we're focusing on the live chat now. If you said anything above that I missed that you wanted me to pay attention to, please say it again. Amoeba is saying, why is the hijab becoming more popular in the Western world? I don't know. Teach me all these YouTube methods so that we could grow this channel as well. Guys, if you want to give me tips, because I suck at YouTubing, right? This is why it took us so long to get even to 20K. But if you guys know how to YouTube properly and you have any feedback for our channel or our Twitch channel, because we did really well on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, okay? On Instagram, we're more than 100,000 followers. On Twitter, we have more than 100,000 followers. On Facebook, we have more than 2,400,000 followers. On YouTube, we suck, okay? So you guys should, if you want to give us feedback on how to grow on YouTube, and tell us why, like what we could do to get better, go to our Discord server, link in the description, and there's a channel called Technical Advice, yeah, something like that. And please, like, I will make sure I'll check that. Okay. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Armin, the Navobian monster, is saying the title was perfect today, as was the thumbnail. These are very important. Yeah, I'm getting better at the thumbnail. I'm also getting one thing I'm going to change about the title in the thumbnail is I'm going to go with more bolder text and capitalize everything. I think when the thumbnail is very small, those are easier to read. So I'm switching the thumbnail, and title really matters. So I'm going to name drop a lot in the titles. like of other YouTubers, especially. I think that really helps with your channel growing. And also, I'm gonna use every time a celebrity says something, about anything that we care about, I'm gonna use that as an excuse to talk about the topics that we care about. But I think that pull these celebrities have will be helpful. It helps bring more attention to the channel. So I hope like these people get more talking about religion. Like yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? So we're gonna name drop in the titles. I'm gonna use bigger, bolder text, more simple. Like the thumbnails are gonna be a lot less messy, and the thumbnail there's gonna be bolder text highlighting what the topic is, right? So I think I'm gonna do that. And I'm also gonna Soha and P2020 are constantly reminding everybody here to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and also follow us on Twitch. I think that's really helpful. So thank you guys for doing that. Oh, and this cute little Nightbot is reminding everybody to support us on Patreon. Link in the description. Thank you, Nightbot. Let me see if there was anything above that you guys said. I know Coco was saying some things that I missed. There was some really good comments above. Guys, if you want to repeat those, I know I missed some really good comments. I'm not gonna scroll all the way up. Imam Pula. These are some interesting usernames. Okay, so Born started saying, I think Armin is a ped something that I'm not going to say because he talked about coming from Muslim kids. Yeah, sure, you can fake that. I'm pretty sure that's a joke. Oh, here. Nawad Jill is saying, keep doing the great job, ex-Muslim and proud. Ah, great. See, ex-Muslims represent. Soha is very nice. Let me see. Okay, you guys don't have any questions, and I'm going to head out. Guys, please make sure you share these videos because we are trying to grow this channel. Again, thank you for all the 20,000 people who subscribe. I love every single one of you who subscribe. The ones who are watching who are not subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. Hey, let me tell you what the mission of this channel is, okay? There are six enemies of enlightenment values, okay? And I'm going to try to find excuses to make it popular to go after all six of them. Okay? I don't know how, but those are the six enemies. There are six enemies that we're going after. And this is a channel that's going to be focusing on these six, right? These are the enemies of enlightenment values. Okay? Christianity, Islam, Western far right ideology. It's hard for me to do this one because every time I want to attack that, YouTube for some reason thinks I am that because I'm using the same keywords. So that's dangerous to attack. I might host those videos somewhere else. The woke cult, right? So that's 4. The last 2 is Hindutva and the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. These are the 6 enemies the 6 greatest enemies of enlightenment values. Okay, I understand that Judaism is also nonsense, but Judaism is mostly a threat to enlightenment values in Israel. But on a global scale, it's not a major threat to enlightenment values. These are the major 6 threats to enlightenment values. And I want to wage war against all 6. P2020 saying religious reformers. Well, religious reformers are just basically helping Christianity and Islam stay alive longer. So that's it belongs to that category. Oh my God, we got another super chat, 20 euros. Jesus. Marco, thank you so much. You're very generous. 20 euros for 20,000 subscribers. Well done, Armin. Thank you so much. And we expect a special stream celebrating it, make no mistake about it. Well, this was it, though. This was this stream celebrating it because the stream was about is atheism growing? And we're growing. So it was kind of, I don't know. Marco is a legend. Yeah, thank you, Marco. You're so generous. I don't know. Every time Marco's gonna go broke if he keeps watching Atheist Republic. Stop doing that. But thank you, I appreciate that. Oh, Shopam, guys, we shouldn't ignore Shopam. Shopam mods this channel. Sometimes I miss his comments. Shopam is saying one day, one One day, one of the week for every enemy, except Sunday for the weekly panel. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could. Hey. The problem is that if you want to grow this channel, 2 of these 6 enemies help this channel grow more than the other ones. I've noticed when I go after the woke mob and when I go after Islam, you guys seem to be more interested. Even though we have 6 enemies, these 2 get more attention. And we do have to grow this channel. So that's something I have to figure out how to resolve. Wait, do you answer? What do I answer? Hamid, what did you ask something that I missed? You have to tag Atheist Republic if you want to. Did I miss Hamid's question? Ocard SS0 is saying, to grow on Twitch, go to Austin's show, and I can't go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be worth paying the travel fees. What Nightbud is constantly is reminding everybody to support us. Thank you, Nightbud. It's Nightbud is very nice. I know, I'm kidding. Hold on. Here's the question: if you want to grow the YouTube channel, collaborate with other channels. I got to know you from Rationality Rules. Okay. Okay. I can do that. But yeah. Okay. You're right. Good call. I'll try to do that. Yes, he is. You know what? I should have Harry Sultan on. This video has been epic. Please keep exposing the Davo figures who continually lie and deceive their followers. Will do, Armin, the Navobian monster. And I'm going to just do 2 more comments. And the Knight Sindonia is saying, not a big fan of CCP myself, but why is that on the list? Why do you think it's on the list? It's 1 out of every 7 person in the world is Chinese, and they're extremely against Enlightenment values. They're affecting the policies that come out of the CCP, and the policies that come out of the India's government affect more people than the policies coming out of most other countries. I mean, you can't get more anti-enlightenment than such an authoritarian government like the Chinese government, right? So, I mean, if you want to promote enlightenment value, like if you have a global perspective rather than a Western perspective, and you want to be a defender of enlightenment values, then the CCP and Hindutva would be major priorities for you, I think. Wait, Harry Sultan is here? No, he's not here. Oh, here, Hamad. How to replace Islam with a good moral structure? By annihilating Islam. Something good will replace itself. Okay? The vacuum will be filled. Just nuke it. Okay, guys, when I talk about destroying Islam, I'm talking about Islam. I'm not talking about Muslims. Please, YouTube gods, dear YouTube gods, I'm not promoting violence against any individuals or any group of people. Please do not strike this channel down. Amen. But we need to kill Islam. Not Muslims, Islam. Okay? The demand for guidance and values and source of morality and ethics and meaning and community and all of that, the demand for it, because the demand for it exists, the supply will come. Just get rid of the monopoly that religion has over all of these things, and the market will provide. Shubham, to be honest, Hindutva and Hinduism is kept unchecked will affect the world. We already know how there is casteism in practice in the US. Shubham, you're exaggerating. Don't make a problem that is already made big. Don't try to make it bigger. It's already very big. It's already big enough for us to be worth attacking it. Let me just do Amen. Yes, Amen. Mark, the only gods we fear here at Atheist Republic are the YouTube gods. No other gods. Marcus saying, what do you replace cancer with? It's the same freaking question. Exactly, Marco. Like, if I remove this cancer off of my body, what would I replace it with? Will AR ever go into politics? We are already in politics. We have, yeah. Go look at my Wikipedia page. See what kind of mess we've been involved in. What is this? This born side? This guy's a troll. Why do we get, as we grow, we're going to get more trolls. Will Atheist Republic ever go into politics? Yes, we already have been into politics, and hopefully, if we become more influential, we will get more into politics. There's the only way to win this battle. We're already winning the demographics battle, guys. We're losing the political game. We're winning the demographics, but for some reason, even with the demographics on our side, we're going backwards when it comes to our rights. So we can't just be like, hey, we're growing, everything is great. No, everything is not great. We have to play the politics game as well. Anyways, I'm going to go now because it's been already 1 hour, and I'm trying to keep these under an hour. I've been told that if I keep it under 1 hour, more people will watch after. If you are watching this after, why weren't you joining us when we were live? Hit the notification bell so you could join us live, so we could have a conversation. Have conversation with each other. I highlight your comments. See, there's a lot of engagement. When you join us live, right? Like we talk, it's not a one-way conversation. You call me out, you're like, Armin, that's stupid. I'm like, oh, maybe you're right. No, you're an idiot. And I correct myself. I learn from you guys, right? And then you see me evolve. You see my ideas evolve because of the feedback that you're giving me, right? So this is like, it's good. We're doing this together. It's not just me telling you things, right? It's fun. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm rambling. Wait, one more comment. No, anyways, I'm gonna go. You guys are too fun. That's why I don't know what to do. All right. Love only the people who have subscribed or following us on Twitch. I love all of you guys who are subscribed or following on Twitch. The rest of you, screw you. Unless you just decided right now to subscribe, then love you too as well. Subscribe is right here, right somewhere here. Hit the notification bell as well. Anyways, goodbye. All right. Hit the notification bell now. Bye.